The meaning of life is not to simply exist, to survive, but to move ahead, to go up, to achieve, to conquer. Arnold Schwarzenegger. You wake up at 7 a.m. and check your phone with a bunch of messages and posts on social media. Then end up remembering that you need to go to work. You end up finishing work at 5:30 p.m. and going home to relax after the stressful day. Your phone goes off, and you check it, and you see more posts of how other people are spending their lives, most likely better than yours. That's when you question life. That night in a bar, you end up talking with your friends, and all of you just end up right back on your phones, looking at social media. You finally realize the loop, the illusion. You see, many times in life, we ask ourselves the question, why are we working for 8 hours? Why is it that you are willing to wake up early every morning and work the entire day to do it all over again the next? The answer is money. You get the thought that if you had more money, you would be a lot happier, despite already making 6 figures a year. Most of us find that money is the solution to everything. But when given that money, and more, we end up feeling empty, hopeless, with no motivation to do anything. The cycle starts. So if it isn't money, then what is it? Why is it that we have social media constantly trying to convince us that the bigger the number in your bank account is, the better? That having everything is nothing. That's hard to swallow. Most of us are covered by an illusion that having more money, having more desires met, is to be successful, including myself, and most likely you. I also thought that by being able to buy that luxury car or buy that nice watch meant I would end up being more happy. Maybe for a few days, while that excitement inexorably sinks right back down to nothing. Everything is nothing. I came from a family and a bloodline that just wanted to collect more money and completely forgot about the purpose of life and so much more. That by having materialistic items and only concentrating on how wealthy I can be, I would end up being happy. That by being able to feed my desires, I would be a happier person. Sure, money can help in a lot of different situations, such as being able to buy what you want and pay all your necessities that you may require. But once I hit a certain amount, I realized that money should be a tool instead. Realizing that money has no soul, but instead is purely a tool that allows you to find your true meaning and passion in life, which allows you to thrive. Unfortunately, it's a realization that most of us don't achieve. While that already was bad enough, falling also into the deep loophole of constantly wanting more made it just that much worse. We constantly end up questioning life and our purpose. What do I mean? Looking at Instagram or any other social media that continues to give you more delusional happiness. Am I happy? We have all done it. Adding the feelings of being envious, jealous, depressed because of others, despite our current situation. Then wake up the next morning wondering when the day will be over and what the purpose of life is. Once we reach a certain amount of wealth and desires that have been met, we still constantly compare ourselves to others and constantly take for granted what we already have. This has been true when comparing any level of social status. Most of the people that I know who especially fall victim to this end up being depressed, despite having a lot more compared to the majority of others, whether making 6 figures, more or less, including myself at one point. That's when we need to realize that instead of constantly comparing ourselves to others, we should compare ourselves to our own accomplishments. We shouldn't constantly try to compete with others, and instead, maybe look at the smaller details. Your family, your friends, your loved ones, the ones that you still have. Because if you forget about the most important things in your life and take them for granted, you will end up with a different kind of sorrow. Except with this one, you end up with hatred, regret, and more depression. Whether it's money, materialistic items, desires, or just plain jealousy. Concentrating on yourself and your own happiness, your loved ones, and the times that matter will most likely make you happier. That is, if you can get out of the loophole and the illusion.